Go ahead.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Appreciate you accommodating our change of our regular meeting for the end of February from last night to this morning. I'll call to order our regular meeting for February 24, 2016. Jill, call the roll.
Mr. Matthews.
Here.
Mr. Pauly.
Here.
Mr. Moore.
Here. The minutes were drafted for us from our meeting of February 9, 2016. Mike or Dan, do you have any correction or changes?
I have none.
Me either. All right. There being no correction or changes, those minutes will stand approved by the board. Public speaks. We'll open up the floor to anybody that has anything for us before we begin our regular agenda items. If you have anything, just come up to the microphone. Don't see anybody taking it, so we'll move right on to the road department. Go ahead, Mike.
Request approval for a purchase order to Newman Signs in the amount of $775.41 for blank street markers and letters.
So moved.
Second. Yes.
Request approval for a purchase order to Campbell Oil in the amount of $365.75 for a 55-gallon drum of hydraulic oil.
So moved.
Second. Yes.
And that is all I have.
All right. We have the material for the generator now. It's all at the road department. It's not installed, but anyways, if we get an invoice for it, it is all out there. So.
Okay.
Yeah, anything else road related?
Rest up. Sounds like you might be eating tomorrow.
Don't talk like that.
Thank you, Mike. We'll see you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
All right. Hey, Chief. One item on the agenda, Dan, so go ahead whenever you're ready.
Request to use the meeting room by Corey Bailey on March 5th.
It's available.
Okay, so moved. Second.
Yes.
That's all I got. Anybody have anything to Chief?
We're having a problem with the generator.
Yes.
This generator's, because of the age, they told the chief they can't get parts for it, and it's, they wanted to, they wanted to quote a new one. And so I got my sales guy from Buckeyes coming down today. We'll take a look at it.
And then
So in other words, we'll get a quote from them.
And then we also have a quote from the ones that maintain it. So we'll have two quotes in.
All right.
Yeah. So anyways, other than that, I guess it's...
How old is that generator?
It was
We're
before I
thinking
was
15
chief.
to 20.
So it's got to be 16 years old?
At least. The problem is they, when they get to a certain age, you can't buy parts for them. I mean, it's unfortunate, but it's just like it gets to be a real problem.
All right. I know you have places to go and things to do, just like the rest of us, but you could stick around for 10 minutes. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Linda, you're ready. Anything to cover with us today?
Yeah, we're pretty much up on the complaints, but on the NIP program, the house on Vaughn is off because it's a half mile outside of their target area for NIP.
Okay.
So we're going to take that one off, and it is due to come up for a tax sale in June. So I think we'll just let that one sit and see if it happens to go in June, and then that would be good.
All right.
And I want to put 11381 Walnut, which is an abandoned house and has been for about 5 years, and I'd like to put that on for replacement on the NIP so we don't lose those funds.
What was that address again?
11381 Walnut.
Already declared a nuisance or not, or do we need to?
We will have to do that, but
Okay.
Regional Planning's checking on something to make sure we can switch them out before we do that.
Sounds good.
Okay, and otherwise we're good to go.
All right. And I know we're still kicking around a meeting with the commission, and I'll get back to you.
I figured you would when you knew what your schedule was. I wasn't worried about it. Oh, March 15th is our court date with the Ilias 183. We sent the letter yesterday.
Very good. Anything else, Dan?
I guess not. What's going on with that fire job on Gasker there? Is that the one that was burned anything?
Jamie would know, I wouldn't.
I just was curious.
I think they're going to demo it.
Yeah.
Is that what they said they were going to demo?
It's pretty rough.
The last thing I heard was they were going to demo it.
Okay, well, thank you.
You might want to when you get to the first one on General Township, in case you have a question.
Well, let's just have you stay there a minute then. Ken's not here with us this morning. There's nothing for him to report as a result. General Township items, just a few of these items to cover. There is a request to use the meeting room by the Stark County Farm Bureau on March 10. And Linda, you must know about that or something?
Yes, at NEFCO last month, they're doing the Deer Creek watershed. They're starting up the program to try to keep the algae out of the water. And so Farm Bureau and NEFCO are heading up a meeting with all the farmers and people in the area. And they didn't have a place to have the meeting, so I talked to Dan, and he didn't. Or Mike, I'm sorry, was it you? It was Mike I called, and he said he didn't see a problem because it was available, but I wanted to ask anyway.
Talk to me, because
Okay.
I shouldn't have approved it.
Well, no,
Until we voted on it, it was my fault.
well, no, I didn't mean you approved it. I just meant you said we could go ahead and put it on the agenda to ask.
I think it's fine.
Oh my goodness, don't ever do something like that.
No, I didn't mean that.
That's all right.
But I thought since it is in our district, it wouldn't hurt for us to
That's all right.
offer the facility.
Community
Okay.
service.
That's a fair use.
Okay.
All right, I'm assuming it's available, and I'll move that we authorize the Stark County Farm Bureau to use our meeting room on March 10, 2016.
Second.
Yes.
They had Farm Bureau headed up because they get better results to get the farmers in to discuss the problems they're having with Deer Creek.
That's good.
Yeah, it's probably good.
I'll get out of your way.
Thank you, Linda. Next item is to address the 2016 budget and permanent appropriations. Jill, anything to point out to us different or modified from our meeting on the budget?
Yeah, I was able to confirm that we will be getting that other $9,600 in.
For general?
Yeah, in
Good.
general. And I did increase, looking at the fees a little bit, I felt comfortable enough to increase that a little. We did make the cuts, some of the cuts we had discussed in our meeting in general. I haven't, still actually need to find some way to make some more, but we've at least got it to the point where I can send in our permanent appropriations.
Okay.
As far as on the other, I did decrease a few of the, what we had typically kept aside as road funds, not by much, but enough to get, I think I have about 7,000 in two different funds set aside to start saving for a truck.
All right.
And depending on how things go at the end of the year, there may even be more that we can move in there.
Just keep in mind that once we have that fund, we need to be conservative about how much we put in it.
Right.
Because if you don't use it for a truck, then you can't take it out without court orders. We want to just be conservative on how much we use, all
And
right?
right now, it's not going into any separate fund, it's just kind of set aside in the machinery line.
Exactly.
In each of those.
But when we do
Right.
a separate reserve account, we'll just have to be careful of it.
And just two things, which can be for discussion in another meeting as we check more into it. Were you able to find out anything as far as the medical insurance? I haven't been able to, I just did a quick search today to see if that could be charged to any of the other accounts on as far as the trustees. But I did check and see, and my salary can actually be split based on the
Okay.
percentage of hours spent on each, so I'll take a look into
Handling funds, okay.
Yeah, so that'll give us some relief in general, because as it is right now, we had to cut other expenses quite a bit. And I cut the independent contractors quite a bit, which I'm going to look into that, and there may be a way to, I'm wondering if we could cover some of that expense as far as on the road, the litter control and that, even on the road.
If they're working under different funds?
Yeah. Because I know the one year they came in and we had them, they helped out by painting some of the guardrails and things like that, so.
Okay. Well, good.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
Any questions, Mike?
No, not at this point.
Just so all of you are aware, unlike the amorphous federal government that we all serve under, a local township cannot run a deficit. It has to always show that it's in balance. And for reasons that are beyond our control, I know that may sound like a politically expedient way of saying things, but it's just simply the truth. For reasons beyond our control, our general fund is taking a hit. And so we have had to look at adjustments to things that we pay from the general fund. And Jill has done a nice job in looking at that. When we talk about making adjustments to health insurance and the way that some people are paid from various accounts, I can tell you that Ohio law is very clear on allowing for trustees to be compensated from various funds in proportion to the type of work they do in service to the township. We made those adjustments a few years back, and we continue to operate under those adjusted amounts in order to be able to help preserve the general fund for paying things that are needed to be paid from that fund. So what we're looking at is whether or not we can also make adjustments to how health insurance is covered to also help the general fund out. And then as Jill mentioned, there may be other things that we can look at, including how we pay general contractors and such. So that's what we're looking at. But we do have a 2016 budget and permanent appropriations that is in balance, so it conforms to Ohio law as necessary. And I'll move that we authorize approval of the 2016 budget and permanent appropriations.
Second.
Yes.
Very good. Jill, thanks for your work on that.
Yeah, thank you, Joe.
All right, next item. I'll move that we authorize a purchase order to Morgan White Administrators in the amount of $219.63 for 3 months of insurance premiums.
Second.
Yes.
Okay, and next I'll move that we authorize a purchase order to Aetna in the amount of $3,761.30 for March insurance premiums.
Second.
Yes.
And next month, you'll see another purchase order for Aetna. It's, if you recall, back in December, they had our billing and our invoice kind of all mixed up with extra people on there, but I wasn't able to get a new invoice printed before it had to be paid, so we went ahead and paid that total amount, so there wasn't any kind of delay or problem with the workers' insurance. So now, as we're kind of getting those credits and that figured out, I figured it was easier just doing them smaller until we get it all balanced back up.
All right. Very good. Mike or Dan, anything general township related?
No.
No, nothing.
Okay, a few of our final favorite items that we always cover. Everybody waits till this end of our meeting. It's most exciting. I'll move we authorize approval of the cash revenue and expenditure financial report for year-to-date submitted by the fiscal officer.
Second.
Yes, I applaud.
That's always the most exciting part of our meeting. That's approved?
Yes.
Okay. That's all right. Bills tonight, or this morning actually, are $30,910.37. I'll move we authorize payment of those bills.
Second.
Yes.
Typical communication items we've received, seminar notices and such. We also do have our electrical aggregation program quarterly report, if anybody is interested in that interesting read. And I'll move that we authorize filing the communications.
Second.
Yes.
Okay, that covers our agenda this morning. Near record time. Not quite, but close. Anything, Dan? Jill? Mike?
No.
All right. We do have a couple things we're going to cover this morning, and we also need to have an executive session to address a couple of things. So under the authority of Revised Code 121.22G, I'll move we convene an executive session to discuss some personnel policy and concerns.
Second.
Yes.
All right. And with that, we won't close our meeting, but we'll be in recess for about 5 minutes. Anybody have any questions, comments before we do go in recess? No? All right. Thank you again for taking your time out this morning to join us, and again for accommodating us on the change from our evening meeting schedule. We appreciate it. Hope all of you have a good day.
Thanks.